Let me take you back to ancient Greece, specifically to Athens and the legendary King Minos of Crete. In this story, we're not just talking about gods and monsters. We're talking about leadership, facing fears head-on, and the power of strategic thinking. This is the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. So, here's the setup. Every year, Athens was forced to send 7 young men and 7 young women to Crete as a tribute to King Minos. These unlucky souls were sent into the Labyrinth, a massive, complex maze designed by Daedalus, to be sacrificed to the Minotaur, a terrifying creature that was half man, half bull. The Labyrinth was no ordinary maze. It was impossible to escape from, and the Minotaur was the ultimate predator. For the people of Athens, this tribute was a mark of shame and fear. Now enter Theseus. He was the son of Aegeus, the king of Athens. Theseus wasn't just some passive heir to the throne. He was a guy who wanted to make a difference. He knew his people were living in fear, and he wasn't about to let this cycle of terror continue. So, in a move that already sets him apart as a leader, he volunteers to be one of the 14 tributes. Think about that for a second. This guy is royalty. He could have stayed in the comfort of his palace, safe and sound. But no, he steps up and volunteers for the mission himself. That's the kind of leadership that makes people pay attention, leading by example. But it's not just bravery that makes Theseus a standout. It's his intelligence. You see, Theseus knew that if he went into the labyrinth without a plan, he'd be just another victim. So he got help from Ariadne, King Minos' daughter. She fell in love with him and gave him a ball of thread, simple but genius. The plan? Tie one end to the entrance of the labyrinth, and as he went deeper, he'd leave a trail behind him. That way, no matter how twisted and confusing the maze got, he'd have a way out. This isn't just a story about brute force. It's about using your mind to outsmart challenges. Let's pause here because this is a huge lesson in leadership and life. When faced with a problem, it's not always about charging straight ahead. Sometimes, it's about stepping back and figuring out how to work smarter, not harder. Theseus didn't just go in hoping for the best. He had a strategy, and that's key. Now, Theseus enters the labyrinth. Picture this. It's dark, the walls are high, and every corner could hide the Minotaur. But Theseus doesn't waver. He moves forward, trusting his plan, and eventually comes face to face with the Minotaur. This is where we see the power of determination. The Minotaur wasn't just any beast. It represented fear, danger, and the unknown. And yet, Theseus doesn't back down. He fights the creature, not with superhuman strength, but with the focus and courage of someone who knows what's at stake. He's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for his people, for Athens, for their future. After an intense battle, Theseus defeats the Minotaur. But the story doesn't end there. Remember the thread? Thanks to his earlier preparation, Theseus finds his way out of the labyrinth, leading his fellow tributes to safety. It wasn't just the battle that made him a hero. It was the fact that he had the foresight and intelligence to ensure a way out when things got tough. That's real leadership, being able to navigate both the fight and the aftermath. So, what's the takeaway from this story? It's more than just a myth about a guy slaying a monster. Theseus' journey is about stepping up when others won't, having the courage to face the unknown, and using strategy to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. It's about being prepared, thinking ahead, and not just relying on bravery, but also on intelligence. In today's world, we might not be fighting literal minotaurs, but we all face our own labyrinths. Those situations that seem too complex, too overwhelming, or too dangerous to navigate. The key, like Theseus, is to have a plan, to be brave enough to step into the unknown, and to keep moving forward even when the path isn't clear. And maybe most importantly, don't forget your thread. Whatever challenge you face, make sure you have that backup plan, that connection that will guide you back when things get tough. Whether it's the support of others, a well-thought-out strategy, or just the determination to see things through, having that thread can be the difference between success and failure. Theseus shows us that true leadership isn't about being fearless. It's about acknowledging the fear, preparing for the worst, and then taking action anyway. So the next time you find yourself in your own labyrinth, remember Theseus and the Minotaur. Face your challenges head-on, lead with purpose, and don't forget to bring your thread. You never know when it might help you find your way out.